Well, listen, it is outrageous and borderline offensive that they have better odds to win the title than Milwaukee. That is just on its face ludicrous, and I hope Giannis is as bothered by it as I am as he sits in his palatial estate in Greece and starts bench pressing even more when he sees those odds. However, set that aside, because the bookmakers have had the Nets wrong every single year. So I'm not that worried about it. They're a very public team. That's fine. Here is, Brew, what I am more interested in. And I you know what I mean? I paid tribute to you in the first segment about getting this right. I wonder how long it's going to be right, however. I am far from convinced that Kyrie Irving is finishing the season with the Brooklyn Nets. I know Wendy floated the idea that he might not even start the season with the Brooklyn Nets, and he floated that after Kyrie opted in. I'm not going to go that far. But one thing, you said Kyrie had no leverage, but he did have the leverage of he could have been a free agent, so to speak. Or not so to speak, he could have been a free agent, but now opted in. It's not like he has a no-trade clause. They could send him anywhere. And when you heard Joe Tsai reportedly, be on board with maybe even losing Durant if it meant avoiding the drama of last season, I don't know that I can bank on Kyrie Irving being drama-free, vax mandate or not. And so for all those reasons, and because I don't think they're going to be some juggernaut, I am far from convinced that Kyrie Irving is finishing the season with the Nets, even though I do think at this point he will start the season with the Nets.
Okay, I want to address everything you said, Nick. First of all, I agree. I think in the East, Milwaukee should be the favorite. However,
of course,
if you're being honest, I think you look at it like, okay, if KD's KD, if Kyrie will just come out and play basketball, granted, a big if, and if Ben Simmons, let's just say he's Ben Simmons, right? He doesn't have to take jumpers, but let's say he plays typical Ben Simmons basketball of 2 or 3 years ago. The Nets could beat Milwaukee. Now, right now, I would pick Milwaukee. So I'm with you on that. But let's not act like if it comes together for the Nets, that they won't be right there near the top of the East. Now, I would have Milwaukee as the favorite in the East, and then Boston, and then the Nets right there close with Boston, and Philly and Miami right up there as well. So obviously they got some good teams at the top of the Eastern Conference. But the Nets on paper, because you also have shooting with Seth Curry and Joe Harris. If it comes together, a gigantic if, I know. But on paper, they're as good as anybody in the East. So I have to say
totally
that first.
Disagree.
Secondly, addressing the reports about him potentially being traded before the season. Well, if I'm the Nets and they're clearly not tied to Kyrie, nor should they be, right? But I don't think they're like looking to shop him necessarily. But if they could get, say, a Dame Lillard, which they can't, but they would do that in a heartbeat. Okay, if they could get a top flight point guard who's more stable, they would absolutely do it. But they won't be able to, so he'll start the season with them. And then Wilds, I do think, Nick, he ends the season with them because he's got to play well, and he's got to be on his best behavior. Even if he's thinking, Wilds, man, I'm out of here. I'm tired of the Nets. They did me wrong. I'm going to play one season and go out as a free agent next year. He's still got to play nice. He's still got to play well, and he's got to be on his best behavior for other teams who have interest in him. So I do think you'll get a good version of Kyrie Irving this year.
So I agree with that part. But when you look at the top teams in the Eastern Conference, they've all got something that they're starting their season with, right? The Celtics are going to want to limit their turnovers and get a little more scoring. Maybe the Bucks want to work on their rebounding, also keeping Chris Middleton healthy. How do you think Steve Nash starts the first meeting with the Nets? If I was Steve Nash, I'd pull a Magic Johnson. I would say, you know what? It's probably time for me to go. Other guy, Jason Kidd started with the Nets, then he ended up coaching Giannis and then Coach Luka. Kenny Atkinson, he left here and he just got a championship ring. If I'm Steve Nash, I look around and say, you know what? This is not set up for success for me. we have significant communication and leadership issues. It started when Kyrie said anybody can be the coach and undercut me right from the beginning. Yeah. And it ended with Kyrie thinking that he's a cornerstone of the franchise when in actuality, Sean Marks and Joe Tsai were willing to just let him walk. So the fact that there is so much tumult, that there is so much a disorganization and a lack of clear messaging, and we can go on, whether it's Harden, whether it's Kyrie, part-time, full-time status, whether it's the idea that Ben Simmons might play game 4. No, scratch that. He actually is going to the hospital. He needs back surgery. There is no organization and no clear messaging and clear goal setting. So if I was Steve Nash, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to take off. I'm going to try to coach another superstar, then maybe another superstar, get my coaching career on track, because right now this season is doomed. Doomed.
It's a no-win.
Well, listen, Nick Wright. I think it could be. The problem for Nash is Nash isn't going to be in line for another head coaching job anytime soon. Also, how he's going to start his first meeting with the Nets when they all get together is probably, guys, is it my turn to talk yet? Kai? Can I go? I'm gonna go ahead and take over.
That's what I'm saying.
But so here's the thing, and this is always real quick. This has always been my frustration with some of the Nets commentary, because of the tumult and the drama and the vaccine and the sabbaticals. Folks have, in my opinion, always missed this point. This is not a well-built roster. Do you know how many forwards, guys who are listed at forward, small forward or power forward, they have on the roster not named Kevin Durant? 0. Seems like a problem. KD tweeted during the draft, it's a wings league. He's the only wing they have. You literally got to play at least 2 at all times. They have a bunch of guards and they have centers. And so now you can say, is Ben Simmons going to play wing? So be it if you want to say that. But Joe Harris is a guard. Patty Mills is a guard.
How about
Claxton is a center. Kai is a guard. And so, to me, it's a poorly built roster. Brew, you are saying they're behind Milwaukee and neck with everyone else. They were 16 wins shy of a title last year. And they're bringing the same team back plus Ben Simmons. I do not think Ben Simmons is worth 16 playoff wins. Call me crazy. I just don't think he is. And I think they might know that, which is another reason they might try to shop Kyrie for some versatile wings rather than another guard, which they have plenty of.
All right, look, they got Bruce Brown, who's kind of a swing man. Joe Harris can be a forward, small forward, not just a guard. I mean, so that's a little bit fast and loose with the truth, Nick, as well as the 16 wins away. And you mock me. And again, I'm not picking the Nets to win the East. All right, let's not go there. But you mock me for saying it was a close sweep. The 4 games, they lost all 4 games in that sweep by a total of 18 points. No game was double figures. No game was a loss by double figures. Okay. I'm just saying they were closer than that.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.